Bye bye 2020. Hello 2021. Oh, actually, just come back a minute. I need to do the top 10 films of 2020 and then you can go. Thanks. Let's do this. What is up everyone, Movie Way, I'm back again with another video, and today is going to be my top 10 films of 2020, a year that most people will probably want to forget, myself included. I mean, there was a lot of good points actually, but for around the world, I don't think many people enjoyed this year, did they? And film-wise, we got quite a few. To start with, I remember I reviewed 6 films in January. I was going to the cinema more than once a week there, and then it sort of just tailed off within March, didn't it? And there was a lot of independent releases to keep us going and stuff, but I didn't see as much films as I would like to, and as much as some other people. So this list is going to be a little bit different to some of the lists I've seen. I mean, there's some controversial picks here. When I say controversial, I've seen movies that people like and people just don't like at all. Now, Birds of Prey is not on this list, but I really had fun with that film, and I've seen that come up on people's top 10 worst movies. So this is very subjective. Not everyone's going to agree, so leave your top 10 down below if you want, and I'll get back to you. But keep it nice. You know, we don't have to, we're all going to have different opinions, let's be honest. But let's just get into the top 10, starting with number 10, of course. Number 10 is going to be a Shudder original called Host. Now, this came out mid-pandemic, and it was only like a 60-minute movie, like an hour long there. But I was so surprised how well made this was. I mean, it's about 5 friends who go on a Skype call and attempt to do this seance online, and weird things start to happen on camera around the house. It's a found footage film, really. But what I liked about it, it incorporated the relevant time period into the film, and it was full of scary moments as well. The jump scares were done quite well. It was a creepy film, and very likeable characters as well. I mean, it's only 60 minutes long, like I said, but you feared for these characters and you wanted them to kind of get out of the situation. I thought it was a very clever film, and like I said, relevant to the time period. So the director done a great job there. I don't know how long he actually filmed it, but I'm sure I read it was within a few weeks. So yeah, and one of the best Shudder originals out there, and this really surprised me. So I'm gonna have to put it in my top 10 because I really had so much fun with this, and it was one of the most enjoyable films I'd seen all year. So number 10 is Host. Number 9 is going to be Unhinged. Now, this was a big surprise for me. Cinemas had just reopened, and I just looked what was on, and I seen this 2020 movie called Unhinged starring Russell Crowe. Read the synopsis, I went, I need to go and see that right now. So I headed off to the cinema, and I was pleasantly surprised by this film. Came out of nowhere for me. I didn't know anything about it, even though I do the movie news all the time every week. I didn't know anything about this film until it actually released at the cinema. And this is basically a road rage film where Russell Crowe is getting beeped by this woman because he won't move at the green light, and he gives her a chance to apologise, and she says, I'm not apologising, why should I? And then it just turned into this big thrill fest where Russell Crowe was relentless and will not leave this woman alone. He chases her all around town and makes her life hell. And if she shouldn't have had to apologise, but I bet she wish she did, just to avoid this day she was about to have. It goes really deep. There's some really shocking moments, especially one moment in a restaurant there with Russell Crowe just killing this guy in this restaurant. I was amazed by how shocking it was. But all in all, it was a very enjoyable film, a very tense movie, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's my type of film. Like I said, this list will probably be different to some others, but I had to put Unhinged on here because I really like that film. So number 9 is Unhinged. Number 8 is going to be Bad Boys for Life. Now, I didn't expect too much from this movie, to be honest, because the second one was a bit of a mess for me and just very generic action film. When I heard these 2 directors were taken over from Michael Bay, these 2 Belgian directors, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, I kind of had a little bit of glimmer of hope because Bay wasn't on board. And lo and behold, it was the best Bad Boys film out of the three, in my opinion. There's some great action scenes, a great story. The writers really done a good job of making this for the fans. I mean, they had the fans in mind when they wrote this down. I feel they give a lot of character to Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They picked up from where they left off, but it really did delve deep. There was a villain in this who really posed a threat to these two characters. And of course, the comedy is all there as well. I mean, Martin Lawrence had been in the film for about 5 years till he came back into this. But he just picked up where he left off, like I said. Him and Will Smith were great. I just had such a fun time with this. I remember reviewing it and it didn't really have any negatives to say. Even though it wasn't a masterpiece, I find it hard to find things that I didn't like about this movie. And I would definitely watch it again. So yeah, number 8 is Bad Boys for Life. Number 7 is a controversial pick because this is definitely a Marmite movie, but I've gone with Tenet. Now I remember coming out the cinema and I was kind of confused as to what had gone on, but I knew I enjoyed myself. I mean, I did enjoy what I seen on screen. I really liked the direction here. And now I've looked it up a little bit and tried to explain to myself what the movie was about. It does make a little bit more sense. Me and my friend Jamie have had a discussion over it. And we sort of came to an agreement, like, what could this film actually be telling us? But I need to rewatch it again. But what I seen, I really, really enjoyed this movie. And I thought it was masterfully made by Christopher Nolan. You know, the reverse fight scene was one of the best things I'd ever seen at the cinema. I couldn't believe what I was seeing there. I was like, how did this guy film this? You know, the direction is spot on. Okay, the sound design at times is pretty bad. I think Nolan has been a bit stubborn there. I need to rectify that in his next movie. He's done it a few times now, but I really, really thought this was brilliant, and it looked so good. I thought it was a pretty good film, and I'm surprised to not see it in many people's top 10 movie list, but there you go. I had to put it in there. The big blockbuster of the year. I enjoyed it. So number 7 is Tenet. Number 6 is going to be Borat, subsequent movie film, or Borat 2 if you like. Now this is, in most people's minds, going to be just a silly film, but it's actually quite a clever one. Sacha Baron Cohen has done something masterful here, in my opinion, because he's actually just winged this film. He started filming it before the pandemic, brings the pandemic into the story, and I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing, especially the ending. I was just like, whoa, that is so clever. And some of the people in this film do not know what the hell is going on, I believe. You know, at least half the time, he has just gone into a situation and filmed it in one take. And these people are just, it's just hilarious to see these people being made fools of. I mean, it's kind of bad. It's kind of, you know, unfair in a way, but that's what Borat, the character, is all about, I suppose. And what the biggest genius stroke of this was, not including the story, was his daughter, played by Maria Bakalova. I think her name's Tutar in the film. She was absolutely amazing, and she had the same bravery as Sacha Baron Cohen. So these two going on this journey was just so hilarious. And there's this one scene where they do a dance called the Moon Dance. Yeah. I was cringing at the screen. It was so hard to watch, but so funny at the same time. It's a pretty masterful film, to be honest, and just shows how clever Sacha Baron Cohen actually is. So, number 6 is a movie that has to be more credit for, I feel, and that is Borat 2. Number 5 is going to be The Way Back, or as it's known in the UK here, Finding the Way Back. Could you be bothered changing that name? But anyway, this is probably my favourite role of Ben Affleck, to be honest. I thought he was absolutely amazing as Jack Cunningham here. And he's an alcoholic who's lost everything. He's lost his wife, he's lost his way in life, hence the title. And he is just in a slump, really. And he gets a shot to coach this basketball team of the school that he used to be in, because he was the best player this school has ever seen. And he went off the rails and lost his way for reasons that are explained in the movie. But it gives him a new purpose in life. And, you know, he's kind of driven to make this basketball team do well. And there's one moment where he just finished practice and he goes to the bar that he goes to every night, and I was like, please don't go in there, Jack, you know, you don't need to. So I'm sort of talking to the screen there because I'm so invested in the character, and that's down to Ben Affleck doing really well. And you know, he was an alcoholic at one point in his life, so he's had to come back into that, which might have been kind of hard for him. I don't know, you'd have to ask Ben Affleck, but I just thought this was a brilliant, brilliant performance. A good story, and such a feel-good ending. I really got emotional there for the last minute of this film, so yeah, I have, you know, nothing bad to say about this movie really, apart from one or two little nitpicks. But this was definitely one of the best films of the year for me, and this has appeared in quite a few people's lists as well. So number 5 is The Way Back. Number 4 is going to be Soul, the new Disney Pixar film, the last movie I watched of 2020. And I thought this was one of the best looking movies I've ever seen, animation wise, or if not, the best animated movie I've ever seen. It looked absolutely pristine, gorgeous, colourful, and captured the whole theme of jazz in New York. It was just a delight to look at. Brilliant voice acting by Tina Fey and Jamie Foxx. They just bounced off each other. And a great story. You know, my only real problem with this movie was the ending. I think it could have been more impactful if they'd done something else. But overall, such a feel-good film. And it came out at Christmas time, which was fitting to that period. Not a Christmas movie, but a feel-good movie. And it applies to all ages. Some Disney Pixar films are for kids, aren't they? Let's be honest. But this one, anyone of any age could watch this and feel connected to it, I feel. And I thought it was brilliant. So, yeah. Number 4 is Soul. Definitely worth a watch. Number 3 is going to be a bit of a surprise here, but I have to be honest with myself. So, number 3 is The Hunt. Now, this is the most fun I've had all year at the cinema, I'm not going to lie. It's a 90-minute movie, and not a second is wasted. Every minute of this film is brilliant. It's just so entertaining. It knows exactly what it is. It's just, you know, these rich people hunting these others in a field, trying to hunt them down for sport, but it's sort of turned on its head when this character, Betty Gilpin, goes after them, and she's such a badass character. I loved her in this film. Comes out with little one-liners when she's about to kill people and stuff, kind of little throwbacks to the 80s there. But everything about this movie was brilliant. When I seen the trailer, I didn't hold any high hopes for it at all. I just thought it's going to be another generic horror movie for an excuse with blood. And it is, in a way, but done so well. And it's kind of like that film, Ready or Not, but this, to me, was better. Yeah, like I said, the most entertained I've been for a full movie throughout the year. And the next two have a little bit more something to them. That's why they've come ahead of this, but such a fun movie, honestly. If you haven't seen The Hunt, definitely check it out for, you know, how fun it is and Betty Gilpin's performance. Number 3 is The Hunt. Number 2 is going to be The Invisible Man. Lee Whannell, I think this is his 3rd or 4th movie he's made, and he always delivers, doesn't he? I mean, I watched Insidious 3 just before this. When I watched that, I went, The Invisible Man is going to be a good movie. Because I was so surprised with Insidious 3. It was a bit of a shock how good it was, actually. And then Lee Whannell come into this one, and it was just much more than your usual generic horror film. There's so many tense scenes. The first 10 minutes of this is really riveting, and you feel for this character, Elizabeth Moss, who's great in this, by the way. She gives off such a good performance, and you can tell she's really scared of her ex-boyfriend in this, but he has sort of developed this, he sort of faked his own death and developed, you know, this suit that makes him invisible, so it kind of incorporates it into technology today and makes it a little bit believable. You know, it doesn't just be a pathetic story, it does actually make you believe that this could happen one day. And technology, the way it goes, who knows? But he's stalking her every move. I mean, the camera pans around the room and there's no one there, but you can feel him there in the movie, if that makes any sense. And there's a moment in a restaurant late on in this film, and I was just so shocked. I didn't see it coming at all, and I was like, oh my god. So, Lee Whannell, brilliant direction, brilliant performance by Elizabeth Moss. Well, actually, it is the best horror film of the year for me, and I love horror, so yeah. The Invisible Man, really big surprise. I mean, the trailer gave a lot away, but there was so much more to this movie than that trailer. I just thought it was so good, so well made, and very, very well paced. So, number 2 is The Invisible Man. Number 1 is going to be The Gentleman. Yes, Guy Ritchie back to his roots here, doing what he does best, and this is in the same vein as Snatch and Lock, Stock. But to me, this is a better movie than them two. I know I might get in trouble for that, but I've watched it twice this year, and I loved it both times. I just thought it was so well put together by Guy Ritchie. I mean, he does that best. He's good at taking lots of different stories and putting them into one, isn't he? And not to the point where you're getting lost or anything like that. It's very easy to follow. I loved Hugh Grant in this film. It was the best performance I've ever seen from Hugh Grant. I thought he was so funny. But the whole movie's funny. The dialogue is perfect. There's so many great moments in this movie, honestly. Basically, Matthew McConaughey wants to get out of this drug business that he's built all these years and deserves his little time in the sun. But lots of people want to get a piece of this pie that he's trying to sell and try and like do him over and stuff. But it's just a really, really good film. Really, really fun movie. I loved every second of it. And the second time I watched it, it didn't disappoint either. I mean, it was as good as the first time. Just a brilliant film by Guy Ritchie, and let's hope he does more of these now. I wasn't a big fan of them Sherlock Holmes films, I'm not going to be honest. Aladdin was okay, but this is where he shines. This is what he does best. So, yeah, number 1 for me, it was an easy pick in all honesty, is The Gentleman. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this top 10 movies of 2020. Look out for my top 5 worst films coming soon as well. My top 5 most surprising and my top 5 most disappointing. And one that I'm really looking forward to doing, my top 20 first time watches of the year. They're going to be movies that aren't from 2020 but 2019 or below. So yeah, just to let you know as well, I should have told you this at the start of the video, Jojo Rabbit, Parasite, were gonna be on this list, but they were released in the UK in 2020, but they are 2019 movies, so I thought that'd be a little bit unprofessional to put them on there, but maybe they'll you know, be on the 2020 first time watches list, who knows. You'll just have to wait and see. Thanks very much guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you want to see any of these movies reviewed in full detail, the list will be down below. I'll leave my 2020 movie playlist down below. Don't forget to check them out if you want to. Thanks very much guys. See you later.